The phone rang at 3 in the morning. His voice was cold, almost gleeful. "Your apartment building is on fire. Hope you have insurance." I started laughing. He paused, confused. "Why the hell are you laughing at a tragedy?" I took a breath, steady, deliberate. "Because, Dad, that building wasn't just my home, it was yours." I learned early that my father wasn't a protector. He was a gambler, a schemer, a man who saw life as one long con and everyone as a mark. When I was a kid, I used to think his disappearances meant business trips. I used to believe the lies he fed my mother, the promises of a big break. But truth has a way of bleeding through. Debt collectors pounding on the door, shouting matches over missing money, my mother crying into our hands. Eventually, he left us altogether. Not just broke, empty. For years, he was nothing but a shadow in my life, until one day, he came back. Not with an apology, not with love, with an opportunity. He called it an investment, a sure thing. He needed me to co-sign. "A building," he said. "We'll flip it. Easy money. Family business." I wanted to believe. I wanted to think maybe, after all these years, he wanted to rebuild something with me. Against my better judgment, I agreed. But the pattern revealed itself quickly. The late-night calls, the missing rent checks, the tenants complaining about broken plumbing while he pocketed cash. He wasn't building anything. He was bleeding the place dry. And when I confronted him, he smirked. "You wouldn't have that place if it weren't for me. Don't forget who brought you in." That was the moment I stopped being his pawn. I didn't fight him head on. That would have been foolish. He thrived on chaos. Instead, I watched. I documented. I let him dig his own grave. Every misused dollar, every tenant complaint, every late tax payment. I collected it all, quiet as smoke. Then I moved my things out. Not a word to him. I signed a lease across town, told no one. The apartment he thought was mine? Empty, except for the cameras I'd installed. While he thought I was still living there, I was already planning his collapse. Step 1, ownership. He thought we were co-owners, but the paperwork told another story. My lawyer had drafted a silent clause. His stake? Conditional. Every financial misstep, every violation, transferred control to me. All I had to do was prove negligence. Step 2, evidence. The camera showed him sneaking in, moving cash, stashing junk tenants never saw again. My files painted him as a slumlord, a criminal. Step 3, timing. I waited. I let him get comfortable. I let him think I was still under his thumb. Until tonight. He called me with fire in his voice, thinking he'd finally broken me, thinking the blaze would wipe away his trail. But he didn't know the building wasn't just my apartment. It was the crown jewel of his scheme. And now, it was ashes. What he didn't realize was that the insurance policy, the fat payout he was banking on, wasn't in his name, it was in mine. The fire he set to erase his sins became the evidence that buried him. The investigators would find accelerants, traces of his handiwork, and when they checked the ownership, the fraud, the insurance, every arrow would point to him. I didn't need to say much on the phone, just enough. That building wasn't just my home, Dad. It was your investment, your future, and now it's gone. Silence on the line. Then his breath, sharp and panicked. "What did you do?" I smiled into the dark. "What you always taught me. I bet against you." By morning, the fire marshals would call it arson. The bank would call in his debts. The state would call it insurance fraud. And I would call it closure. I didn't need revenge in flames. I needed him to feel what he made us feel all those years ago. Powerless. For once, he couldn't talk his way out. He couldn't gamble, couldn't charm, couldn't run. He was trapped in the very fire he lit. As I hung up, my chest felt light, not with joy, not with triumph, but with release. My father had called me at 3 a.m. to celebrate my tragedy. Instead, it became his confession, his undoing. And I didn't lose a thing. I gained everything he thought I'd never have: control.